So hello, today is April 17th, 2024. This is SIG Node CI working group meeting. Welcome everybody. Today we have some items on agenda. Sotiris?
Yeah, the first item is a small PR, like a clean code. I haven't changed any functionality. It's a couple of weeks, and if someone can take a look and give an approval, it already has looks good for me, yeah, from Ed.
What is Goo? GU? Okay. I don't know what it is about, but yeah, I'm not familiar with Goo. Anyway, it already have a LGTM, right? Okay. I'll move it to needs approver right away. Kevin, you up?
Yeah, it's just I saw this pop up on Test Infra, and then there was a request from SIG Node to deal with this. Effectively, it's the K80 GPUs that we're using for the GCE device plugin are going out of support next month. And I guess their request is to transition to T4. I have absolutely no idea like who donates that to who or what. I just wanted to bring it up to this team. They've been trying to get a hold of some people in SIG Node for it. So
Okay. Yeah, let me find out anybody. It's a good idea. I'll self-assign for now.
there was
Kevin should know about it, I think. Kevin Clues, I mean. He's from NVIDIA, so
yeah, I just don't know. What I more mean is cloud vendors like giving us these for quotas and making sure they're actually there when we need the test. Not really sure how that works. Like we can probably obviously just request it, but I don't know if we'll be guaranteed to get them. And I don't know what people did to make sure the K80s were available for the end-to-end tests.
Yeah, likely there is some K2 infra group involvements needed. And what is this? So this also in the list of. Oh, it's the next one. Okay, sorry. I thought it's a list of. Okay. Anish, do you have any? What is this?
Yeah, so I came across this issue. Someone has reported. What happens is, I think during graceful node shutdown, the pods are terminated, but what happens is, I think the state is not updated on the Kube API server side. Only the state is only updated like locally on like kubelet side. And what happens is when after the node is unregistered, the pod garbage collector controller kicks in and removes the pods. So basically, yeah, my question here was like what does anyone have like context on why the pod status is not updated during graceful node shutdown on the Kube API server side?
I think Brian and I talked a little bit about some. I was actually following up with him a little bit on some of this. I know that it's kind of, I think it seems to be counterintuitive, the terminating state. But I think like with the graceful node shutdown and generally you want to give pods time to shut down. And then even if they're terminating, we like, I think that is considered like a valid life cycle. Like, so like readiness pods will be running, which means that your pod can get traffic, and that's kind of the, I think, in design for all this stuff. So I haven't read this one, but generally I think there seems to be a lot of confusion around like when a pod is terminating, what's it supposed to actually be doing? And like my understanding is, if it's terminating, like the readiness pods should be, if they're running, your pod can be considered ready. You could still be getting stuff. And ideally, I think in that state, you're supposed to have some kind of signal handler to make sure that, like maybe your readiness probe will fail, your readiness endpoint will fail during termination. I don't know how much that actually happens, but I think that tends to be the issue with a lot of these issues.
Yeah, I think that's correct. But I think the issue here is that the pod actually never enters the terminating state during graceful node shutdown. So the controller dependent on that state cannot react to the changes. So yeah, my question
Is it a
here.
daemon set? Oh no, it says deployment service. Sorry, I don't have the.
Yeah, so what I noticed on my side is that I was running into a similar issue. What I noticed on my side was the daemon set pod was killed. Was not killed, as in like tried to be terminated on the kubelet side, but the on Cube API server side, the state was not reflected during that time period, just before like graceful node shutdown.
There is a known issue with daemon sets in the graceful node shutdown. Like generally, I don't know what conclusion we came from. There was a meeting in SIG Node a few weeks ago about this, but generally graceful node shut down, and daemon sets are not really supported that well.
Okay.
So I think that your observation is what we noticed too, which is that pods will continue being created because the daemon set's job will keep rescheduling that. And there's not really a great solution on that one.
Okay.
I also
Should we link this issue in this ticket?
there's one other thing to add to this. You have a pre-stop hook in your pod, and that happens right before the actual termination gets sent to the pod. And if it blocks in any way, there's not a cancellation on it. And so you might be seeing a problem with the pre-stop hook. So I was just curious if you've tried this without the pre-stop hook.
Yeah, I can try that. Yeah, thanks.
So I think the one question for this issue, I think this is probably by design, right? What it sounds like is this is by design. Like if a pod is terminating and readiness probes are saying successful, the pod is still ready.
Correct.
So
The message is to implement the readiness probe and it will solve all the problems, right?
Well, there is a readiness probe in the pod YAML at the very top. But you need to make sure that your service has a SIG term handler. And the SIG term handler sets the readiness endpoint to false. And so then once the endpoint goes to false, then your pod should report to the service endpoints or endpoint slices that it has gone away. In your in your example repo, I don't see a SIG term handler necessarily set up. So something to check.
Yeah, but if the same pod is scheduled for preemption, like spot instances, like it's graceful termination, and for regular nodes, then behavior is different, right? So in one case, you don't need terminate SIG term handler. In another case, you do need SIG term handler, because in case of pod delete, it will go into terminating state and it will handle that.
Right, but the endpoint slice will not be set to false until the pod is completely terminated at that point.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, some of this is expected behavior and some of it I think is a bug in the test or the example use case.
Ryan, do you want to respond to the issue or?
Yeah, I'll comment on the issue.
Thank you.
It would be nice probably to extend existing E2E test to reproduce this. Anyway, we are asking people like if they're fixing something, like to provide coverage E2E or unit tests. But in this case, if it would be reproducible, then it would be like easier to see if it's like a bug or just the test is the use case is kind of different from what is explained in the bug.
But also, I have a question. I see in the ticket, I see that they are using version 123, correct? Or...
Yeah, there is a comment that 127 also have it.
Ah, okay.
One thing I'm not quite sure. I don't know, Anish, if you experience that in your reproduce. Is the issue like, I know that some issues may be happening when graceful termination is quite short and you only have so much time, and during that time kubelet is busy terminating stuff, and then suddenly VM goes away and like kubelet didn't complete all the operations. So maybe like that's why some statuses were not updated. I don't think we will be able to cover that end-to-end test because our end-to-end tests are not like completely deleting the node, and like kubelet may be restarted later. So I wonder if what you experienced, did you reproduce it with kubelet running long time after it terminated everything, or it will be killed right away?
Yes, I was doing like a node shutdown and it had like a lot of workloads, including stateful workloads. And yeah, when the graceful node shutdown kicks in, some pods are killed on the node, but I saw the status was not reflected on the Kube API server side.
So potentially there may be a question of kubelet just didn't have enough time to update all the statuses.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we also need to distinguish this problem from problem like, is it logic is incorrect, or there is a like literally not enough time to clean up everything, and the behavior will be the same if no, like kubelet suddenly got terminated. Okay.
You will want to double check that your kubelet service file has the correct if it's running under systemd, the dependency chain for the service file, so it's being killed before networking is torn down as well. Something to just double check.
Okay, and then there is one more item in the agenda, so there is.
Yeah, it's about the CPU manager test. So I think Francesco, it was one comment in the other PR. I think I agree that CPU manager as it is today doesn't do thorough testing. So don't know how should we proceed. I can volunteer to help, but I cannot lead this in a way. So I think as a group, just I ended up in this case in the PR I work with input vertical scaling, and I think it's better, yes, to think about what the community thinks and to improve the CPU manager test somehow. So I don't know if Francesco is in the call. I think he has also, there were some issues there. So
Hey, yeah, so basically I'm not very happy about the state of the CPU manager test because they have really ingrained assumptions about the CPU topology they work with. Basically, the discovery of the actual CPU topology is minimal, and there are a bunch of CPU IDs embedded. And the structure of the test themselves is too tightly connected from my perspective. And basically, what I will do is very simple: rewrite them from scratch without losing functionality, of course, because I think my own assessment is that the effort needed to do incremental cleanup is quite lower than, I mean, not lower enough than actually rewrite. And that could be done side by side, so make sure we don't lose coverage. But again, if you folks take a look at the age of the issue I filed, it's quite old and never managed really to get this far. Okay, now if you look at it, the issue I mentioned in the beginning is actually corner case, but the underlying issue is that the topology is ingrained and not really the structure basically grow over time with no real cleanup. So that's it. I wish I have time. I wish I really do, but I'm not sure how well we can make progress. I will be happy to help though, if it is of any help.
Would adding more skip logic help at least highlight those issues or like improve debuggability? I'm not sure how it is. So
I don't know. I really don't know because even the layout of the code is so intertwined that the failed attempt there is linked the PR closed. You see there is a WIP working press PR which was closed by inactivity. Basically, I took that route back in time, but never went too far. But lack of capacity was the biggest offender. So I would be happy to discuss this if there is interest. I wish there is. So this is unfortunately the best I can do right now.
it's quite a lot of code to add skip for the skip logic.
Yeah, it took a different path back in time.
Okay. So is there anything you can break down on smaller tasks and like help people understand what needed?
I guess I can write something in the issue, yes, and let's see where we can move forward, how we can move forward.
I think it may be helpful. I don't know if we will be able to find somebody. I can try to see on my site as well, but it will be way more easier to have a little bit more structured plan, like what exactly needs to happen.
Yeah, point taken. I will work on that.
Okay, thank you. That we at the end of agenda, I wanted to quickly take a look at board. Yeah, number of issues not moving down. Oops. One button. Okay, remove support. There's a product code. Add font size.
This one is, I worked on that. I think I have the commit and it's in a review. And there is this special interest group
Lose
for the in-place pod vertical scaling. So I don't have access to modify the projects to add it. So this is as part of the items of in-place pod vertical scaling. So this can be moved to review.
Okay.
And I don't know how to add the project. I cannot because I don't have rights. So, but anyway, it's moving well.
Okay. So you already have some people assigned. Do you need somebody from this group as well?
It's always welcome if someone wants to from this group as well. Yes.
Should we set priority on this? Market
It's PR.
estimates.
I don't think PR needs priority.
And I think for the other item I worked for the in-place pod vertical scaling alongside the CPU static, it's being blocked by this one. So when this is merged and this is parity and approved, then I will add the tests that they will do the combination of the CPU manager and then, yes.
Okay. I also mentioned Timo Claire on that because I think Timo Claire will be looking at in-play vertical scaling. I'm not sure. A few more items here. Fix minus V support. Yeah, I think it's E2E node. Did I sign up for that? Oh, I approved the debug flag. Okay, I can take a look. It's already approved.
I think it just misses the milestone to be merged.
Okay. Debugger support. I think I approved this one. Yeah, I already assigned to myself. So yeah, Patrick is cleaning up a bunch of flags for E2E node tests. And this one missing some prover. Yeah, probably for this make file. Okay. This one is work in progress, and it's not related to this group. It's product code. Support remove ephemeral container. Yeah, it's a product code. So we'll take it away. Wait for pod conditions instead of sleep. I bet it's important and it's already approved. So let's just, oops. I think it's done for us. Solidify contract for and clean up, wait for pods running ready. It's a big refactoring. Okay, it's already have some comments. Yeah, still, I think it's waiting on author because there are so many comments already. There's some comments. Is anybody interested to take a look on the refactoring? Okay, we can just let SIG testing deal with that.
Do we actually even? I'm always confused with the test ETE and test ETE node. I guess technically SIG node would probably oversee the test ETE / node. But
Yeah. When it's refactoring of core framework functions, we can take a look and approve it, but generally speaking, it's typically no op refactoring, so SIG testing may cover that.
yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And yeah, it looks like there's only like a little piece common node. Everything else is everyone else. So
Those 10 files. Again, I remember big PR about it a long time ago that we merged, and we don't close them again. Okay, which one is no? Okay, sounds easy enough. Wait. So the fix here is just to add a error. Why do we need to error?
No, the fix is to close the file. Otherwise, it will be on the risk of double closing.
Oh yeah, close the file. Okay, sorry. My head is somewhere. Yeah, I don't see a reason to wait on it. Fix that ephemeral containers were repeatedly created after being manually deleted.
I don't know if we need to, there's a lot of issues being like this person, I think, has been posting a few around ephemeral containers. I can't remember. I think Jordan commented on one case saying that this was an explicit design choice, but I don't know if this is the PR. Could you maybe click and glance over it real quick? I don't know if
Yeah.
this PR is going to make progress.
Okay,
Like
so
it might
saying
be
that
in the it might be in the issue or the PR. I was just like I saw that and I don't have much context on ephemeral containers. Yeah, so this one was essentially they were noticing that if you do cryo control delete of an ephemeral container, it gets in a bad state. Yes. I don't think there is a support case for that. But then I know there was another issue created around be able to delete ephemeral containers. And I think Jordan pushed back against, or he mentioned that that was explicitly in the design. So I don't know. Not really sure what we should do with this one.
Okay, so this is accepted and priority backlog. Okay.
That was just me. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know if it's really a problem. I tried to ask, and then they kind of brought up that, you know, they don't, like, I mean, cryo control, I don't think we really support cryo control as a user client.
Correct. If they deleted the container out of band of Kubernetes, then I don't think it's supported.
Okay, so you say we can just close as not supported? If it will crash, is it the same as deleted with CRICTL?
Well, It sort of is a design around ephemeral containers. I'm not exactly sure. Like, that's why I asked that question, was I could see value in this PR if like there are other reasons why that container could be terminated. Like, I don't know if like, or the container, I guess. I don't know if like there's a case where it could be deleted and then we're in a weird status outside of cryo control. But that's why I tried to ask if there was like a use case they had in mind outside of cryo control. But I don't know if like kubelet would delete containers, but keep all the other ones in the pod still going.
Yeah, because deletion is quite different from crush, right? So if you delete it, you cleaned up all the C groups and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you can close it. I was just curious if they had a use case in mind that wasn't just developer deletion.
But does the Canvas collector do something about this case? Like, I mean that yes, it doesn't crash the kubelet, but someone did it in purpose. But does it eat resources? Is it something?
Yeah, I will formulate it as if there is a scenario when it really has to be deleted manually, then maybe we can reopen and reconsider. Sorry, I was typing and I didn't quite get. Did it cover what you commented?
Yeah, I think you have covered it. Yes.
Okay. Sorry,
I think
have
the
trouble
main
speaking and
issue
typing at the
is,
same time.
ephemeral
Go ahead, Kyle.
containers are not necessarily like they're an ad hoc add-on of an existing pod, and I don't know. Like, I think this person brought up like they have another issue where they wanted to delete, ephemeral containers, and I know that was one I think Jordan pushed back on. So I don't know if like there's like an adding and removing of ephemeral containers is kind of a supported use case at the moment. Oh, Sergey, I was looking at the PR triage and I was trying to help with cleaning that up. How do you feel about adding like a new column for that one that's just like not SIG node? I was struggling with what to do with those type of ones because there's only done.
Yeah, some similar to archive it, you mean?
Yeah, I've seen some others just have like this isn't SIG node. Like there's a lot of them that are there, and I just don't know if we should mark it to done or not.
Okay, I feel very good about it. Do we want to call it archive it or not SIG node?
I don't care. It's up to you. Not SIG node is I think more clear to that than archive.
Yeah, I called it archive it on other one because it's kind of logical. I mean, what I did before, I archived it right away after the meeting. I start forgetting about it. Information. Not. Okay, column is created now. Thank you for helping with triage. And by the way, I think once we have a release, we can clean up all the done, and board will be much faster after that. I think release is today, so I will just go ahead and clean it up. Yeah, board's supposed to be faster now. Okay, last is skip failing Windows tests. Let's wait for SIG Windows to review it first. I'll move to the needs reviewer, but I will let SIG Windows approve first. Okay, and with that, we cleaned up all the test issues. I think test grid looks good. We merged a few PRs yesterday. Kevin, mostly from you. Do you want to check test grid? Did you check it?
I have been. I think there's one I need to look into, but yeah. So for context, C groups V2 deprecation, or sorry, C groups V1 deprecation. I noticed there were a lot of examples where we were still, and especially in cryo, only running C group V1. So I kind of went ahead and started creating new jobs for C group V2. Most of them are under cryo, by the way. Sorry, guy.
Yeah.
And so they all look pretty good. The resource managers were all good. Huge pages, you know, flaky is flaky. There's a serial one that I noticed I had a timeout with, which I thought was interesting, but I was going to wait and see another day.
Okay. So we have C group V2 and C group V1 analogs here. At some point, I think we will need to create separate tab here for C group V1 and call it maintenance mode, because this is what we're targeting. Like we really want to have all the tests in C group V2 and subset of tests in C group V1.
Yeah, I mean, there's also an issue is our release blocking are all C groups V2. They're not really labeled correctly, but we don't have any like release testing. There might be one Ubuntu image that's still C group V1 for that release blocking one. Everything else is C groups V2, I believe, which is fine. It's what we want. But if we're concerned with making sure we have coverage of C group V1,
yeah, it's probably needed. Yeah, Harsha is not on the call. I think it may be useful for us to have some way to fail tests if they are added with C group V1 and not ideally some environment variables that will fail kubelet or something. That may be useful, so we make sure that all the C group V2 tests being added. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's kubelet feature or test framework issue feature.
yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one to do just because I don't know how you not break the existing tests. I guess you could automatically set any. Nah, actually, I don't know how that would work. But anyway, it's a good point. It's pretty easy to add C group V1 or for cryo. Our default route is C group V2. For costs, I think the default is C groups V2. For Ubuntu, there's an image regular expression you need to select C groups V2. I don't know if over time that will change. I don't know if the default image for GKE Ubuntu will actually just be C groups V2, and then a lot of our Ubuntu tests will switch out underneath us.
Yeah, I think that's the expectation. It should be switched. From what I understand, it may be switched soon. Okay.
Yeah, I did take a look. All the tests look good. I didn't see.
C group V2 eviction fails, but we don't have. Oh, it's the same eviction. Okay, so same test fails on C group V1 and C group V2.
Yeah, for different reasons, of course. But I added that one because I was curious about whether I noticed that there was some stats gathering stuff that I wanted to test out if it was different between C group V1 and C group V2, especially in the C advisor. But that didn't seem to be an option. But I think having the C group V2 flag for those is probably good.
Okay, thank you. And then you added flaky, right? Like,
Uh,
oh, well, like,
you approved it, but it's milestone 1.31, or
ah,
it should be, so it won't be merged yet.
okay.
But
We'll
I did add flaky C group V1, V2 features. I think I got most of the ones in cryo. Also, DRA is now covered as cryo C groups V2. I think most of the container RD ones are C groups V2 already. Yeah, so I think we're looking pretty good on that end.
Great. Thank you. Other than that, it looks pretty green. Yeah. Okay, and I know Anish, you had a topic for yesterday meeting. I can pull it up. Do you want to speak about it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so basically, I think we have our SIG Node CI, SIG Node tests, end-to-end tests. They run with different configuration, and in our test grid, it shows up under different dashboard tabs, like for example, like a cryo container. I wrote a small script that basically aggregates um, like test results across all these dashboards tabs, and just and yeah, and basically it's in the script I'm just checking like how many of this, like what's the flaky percentage of this test. So
Yeah, it's scary that 10% of tests are flaky today.
yeah, one question I had was how much flakiness is good flakiness, like like
I don't think we're winning any friends and from the other SIGs of our flakiness, to put it bluntly. I think that the goal would be to have way less than 1% flaky.
Yeah.
But a lot of these are well known. I think what's helpful for this, it might be nice for this table to know like which jobs these correspond to, because like I'm looking at this and I see eviction, we know, has been flaky for a long time. So I see a lot of these, and we have some solutions in place for those that will hopefully go in 1.31, maybe, hopefully. Device manager, I know that one. Yeah, a lot of these I think I've seen. But I think our goal would be to not have these be flaky, but only enough time in the day.
Yeah. So this is 3%, which is a little bit better. Why is more than 1% is for sure, but it's like 3, right? Anyway, yeah, the idea is to bring it to SIG Node and try to get more support on helping with test stability.
yeah, maybe this can be like a baseline for next release. See how we can perform.
Thank you. We only have 10 minutes for bug triage. Anish, I can switch to you, or I can do it. We probably will only be able to cover a couple of them. Do you want to switch to you, or you ready?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, I can switch. I can also share my tab.
Okay.
Failed to delete C group paths. I think we looked at this issue sometime. Oops, sorry. Pods
Yeah.
are stuck in calculating state.
Yeah, I think Peter just forgot to mark this one as triage accepted.
Okay. Empty directories was not cleaned after pod deletion. When a pod with empty dir volumes is deleted just after it was created, it's possible that the init containers still write contents to empty dirs, but this might cause empty directories orphaned, and kubelet could no longer delete it by remove directory.
This kind of brings up, I linked a separate issue with this one. I've been seeing this come up quite a bit, actually. This is a lot. Actually, this one's not quite, but there's like some weirdness with resource reclaimingness or reclaiming resources after like, sorry, I don't know. I've seen a case where some people were noticing that like when a job or a pod is successful, you still have volumes mounted, and then storage doesn't actually like unleash the mount because it doesn't do that after the pod is sailed or completed. It only does it when the pod no longer exists. Uh, in DRA, someone pointed out this also. So, and then I've seen someone even posted a KEP around trying to add a state for pods to kind of say whether or not they're ready for their resources to be reclaimed because it's complete. So I don't know. Maybe this. Like I'm noticing that that tends to be a kind of an edge case that people are bringing up more and more.
I don't think Volume Manager in the kubelet, which is owned by storage, was ever updated to reach into the pod worker to get the state. And so it could still be racy, tearing down storage. Something to keep in mind on this issue.
But I guess generally, I just wanted to, yeah, I just saw there was a KEP just posted like 2 days ago around kind of this idea, and then I noticed another one in DRA, some of the repo around someone like the resource management of once something is complete. There was, I know, an issue around, yeah. So that's just, it seems like this is kind of the case of once thing is complete. I'm not sure what the expected behavior is. This is also a really old issue. Not really an old issue, but it's an old version.
Yeah, looks like they have a PR as well. Should we mark this as needs information or?
I think we should ask them to try this on a later version of Kubernetes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is already comment about it, and they reply that 126 still applies.
Oh.
If you scroll just a little bit, oh, you're not on this issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of changes in storage in this time frame, even after 126.
Yeah.
Um,
So, and 26 is not supported any longer, right? So
Right.
at 30, yeah. So yeah, Anish, your comment still applies. Okay, thank you.
C group manager exists. C group manager.exist should log the exact validate failure. See this issue, we are trying to look at why pcm.exist fails. We realize no log will be shown in this situation.
I see some logs inside validate. Oh no, it's not log, it's error. Yeah, I wonder if it may result in some overload of logging. If you have some kind of systematic issues, and you may call it a little too often.
Yeah, I think Francesco has an issue, umbrella issue with respect to this, but
These
this
aren't
doesn't.
quite related.
Yeah, it's
This
managers.
But I think the general idea, yeah, it seems similar, but this one, this person has a few issues kind of all related to this one. I know that I guess they were having some poor debuggability of some of the stuff. But I don't really know. I don't know if this would, I don't think I call this a bug. But I don't think that doesn't mean it's not a good thing to add something for this.
Yeah, I wonder if you need some kind of throttling on this log message. I mean, we can log it with very high verbosity. My biggest fear here, like, I mean, adding one line of error log is not a problem, but it may result in some overload of logs in certain situations, and I just don't know about the situation, so we can break somebody.
Would I mark
Can you
this
ask
as
what
accepted?
errors they had, like a specific error? It may help identify. Maybe we can categorize errors at least somehow. Okay, people dropping off because it's 11. So yeah, let's Anish maybe stay till finishing comment, but other than that, we done with the meeting. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, and maybe you can comment saying that adding error log is easy enough, but we worry about overload of logging if something is systematically wrong on a node. So kind of DDoS by logging.
Okay.
So whoever will try to implement it, I think it's a good first issue. Will realize that they need to look at implementing some kind of throttling.
Okay. Yeah, I can post this. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.